Rishabh Pant is back in the Indian Test side. Yes, the team for the first test against Bangladesh was announced on Sunday, and a big name was among them. Rishabh Pant, the guy who we have, sort of enjoyed watching in whites the most. Even though a lot of people say he's the perfect player for T20 cricket, I think he's the perfect player for Test cricket. Rishabh Pant, we have all been waiting for a long time to see him in whites, and we're going to get our wish, hopefully and most probably, against Bangladesh.
It will come true for sure. And since you said we have been waiting for a long time, 20 months to be precise.
20 months.
And Siddhant, here's the thing, the last test match that he played was also against Bangladesh. So the life has actually come full circle. That the last test match he played, and after that he had that car accident, and now he's making a return in whites against Bangladesh itself. I think it's gonna be amazing just to see Rishabh Pant batting in that middle order where we actually missed him a lot. Yes, India hasn't done poorly in his absence, but then when you have Pant,
I think you got to give credit to people like Dhruv Jurel also, who have come in and
Yeah.
done so well. So all was not bad, even though Rishabh Pant was not part of
That's
the side.
what I was saying.
But yes, Rishabh Pant returning to this side, adds so much firepower. And every time, we go back to that Australia series and what he did there, I think that just proves in your mind, that he's such a big player when it comes to the Indian Test team.
Because Siddhant, how I see the situation is because every team is trying to be a little defensive as far as Test cricket is concerned, and Rishabh Pant I think takes advantage of that. And since you said Dhruv Jurel, yes, he has done well in that England series. But then when you have Rishabh Pant
Was a
unleash,
player of the match also in his
yeah,
second
he played
test.
he played that match-winning knock there as well. But when
Ranchi.
you have Rishabh Pant to unleash, why not use him?
And you never know with India, they've got so many options now in the middle order. You could play Sarfaraz, you could play Dhruv Jurel, there's KL Rahul, and Rishabh Pant will definitely play, in our opinion. So I think India's got a lot of firepower. And boss, just watching Rishabh Pant play that Duleep Trophy game and the way he was trying to smash everything again, I think that counter-attacking nature works so much better in Test cricket in comparison
True
to
that.
T20s.
True that.
for
But then
Rishabh.
the only thing is, when he actually gets out in Test cricket, now it looks so bad. Because if you take a look at that first innings in the Duleep Trophy, where he actually announced his arrival with a 4 of the first ball, but then I think he got out for 7.
You live by the sword, you die by
Exactly
the
my
sword.
point. I was about to make that point, but
What
then you
did
have
the-
to give that to Rishabh Pant.
But Virender Sehwag was exactly the same. You remember there are so many incidents where somebody at the other end would tell Virender Sehwag ki bhai, you have hit one boundary. I think I remember Rahul Dravid and he were batting, I think in Pakistan. That's when this happened where
I think he did that with Ganguly as well.
yeah, with Ganguly also. I'm saying where they told Virender Sehwag, Ganguly, by the way, that story is Ganguly only, where Ganguly saw him hit one boundary and said, Viru, is over ka ho gaya, ab ek single leke khatam. Next ball again a boundary. He's like, Viru, aur koi risk nahi lena hai, and then again. So Rishabh Pant is also that similar nature guy. He's gonna come out all guns blazing. And irrespective of whatever people say, I think that is how he should continue playing.
Absolutely.
We saw what Adam Gilchrist did for Australia with those counter-attacking innings, and we've got a glimpse of it, hopefully, and we've got a good. We have seen a lot of it already, but we want a lot more of it with Rishabh Pant. So hoping for that.
Yes, Siddhant, and since we are talking about returns, there's another guy who's returning to the Test squad. That is Jasprit Bumrah. The last time we saw him was with the T20 World Cup trophy in his hands, and now he's making a return to Test cricket. Remember, he opted out of that series in Sri Lanka because he's one of those guys, apart from Virat Kohli
I
and
think
Rohit
the board
Sharma.
told him, "Bhai, tu aaram kar."
It's actually true. The board actually has made that exception for him, that it's his decision whether he wants to take rest or play a series. So if we talk about players who are seniors in this team, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, they get that privilege. But then another guy who actually get that privilege, not being such a senior, but then yes, he has that stature, of course. But then that is Jasprit Bumrah. And yes, workload management is very important with him. And with India now about to play 10 test matches, it's a long test season.
I
ahead.
actually wouldn't be surprised if they play him one of the tests against Bangladesh and
True,
probably
maybe.
rest him for the second one.
I think a similar thing can be seen in the series against New Zealand, where India plays 3 test matches.
I think that
Australia
Australia tour is very important. We have won the last 2 series, and hopefully India can make a hat trick out of it. All Indians will be hoping for it, and that's why Jasprit Bumrah will be a huge figure.
Absolutely.
That guy is probably the biggest menace for batters worldwide. and we saw that during the T20 World Cup. No matter, forget the World Cup, I'm saying no matter the format, if Bumrah is on song, we know what he can do. So Bumrah coming back into the side is a good positive. Love, there's another guy who's returning to the Test side.
Since we're talking about returns,
and who was not part of the series against England, Virat Kohli. So Virat Kohli is also a massive figure for India. You know, a lot of times we talk about how, you know, Test cricket is probably where he has suffered a little in the last few years, where he hasn't performed to his potential. But that series against Australia, he was really good in. England series he missed, where the pitches were still decent. I think we're gonna see some big runs from Virat Kohli
and
against
we always say
Bangladesh.
that. We always
We will get some big runs, love. We will.
we actually
From
want to see
Virat's
Virat.
bat.
We actually want to see those runs, but then I'm a little skeptical of that fact because Siddhant is.
No, I think the pitches will be better for batting.
Let's see if the pitches are better for batting. Definitely yes, but then Bangladesh.
My broadcaster is not happy that all games were finishing in 3 days. They're like कि भाई 5 दिन का पैसा देते हैं हम 5 days कम से कम चौथा दिन तो पूरा हो. So I think you know, see, because we have been slowly seeing the pitches get better to an extent. Yes, some of them do turn every now and then, but we know India has the capability when it comes to the spin department. We know 3 spinners will be playing most probably.
Bowling isn't a concern, but my point is, after seeing Virat Kohli in that Sri Lanka series where he struggled against spin,
I think
I'm actually a little fearful of the fact because Bangladesh actually has some good spinners.
I think apart from Rohit Sharma, everybody struggled in that Sri Lanka series.
That's also
Rohit would give a start, everybody else would fail. So I think it's going to be a different Virat Kohli. He's got a good enough break now.
Hope so. Fingers crossed.
And he loves Test cricket. I think he'll be gearing up for that Australia series in the perfect way possible. And I'm hoping in 5 tests, across these 5 tests at home, we're going to see 500 runs from Virat Kohli.
But Siddhant, we have talked about returns, but then let's not talk about maiden India call-up. Yash Dayal.
Let's not talk about, you said. Let's talk about.
Yash Dayal.
Yash Dayal.
Would you say that it was out of nowhere that he made it to the Indian team?
You know, so there have been media reports, consistently you've been seeing in the media reports about India trying to get in a left-arm pacer into the squad. Earlier, people were saying maybe Arshdeep Singh will get the nod because how he performed in the T20 World Cup, and they said maybe he could also do that in Test cricket. But then you see there were 3 options for India. There was Arshdeep Singh, there was Khalil Ahmed, and there's Yash Dayal.
Yeah.
So Khalil Ahmed, by the way, took 5 wickets in this Dulip Trophy game. But you know who he got overshadowed by? He got overshadowed by Akashdeep, because Akashdeep took 9 wickets across 2 innings. Khalil, even though he took 5 wickets, no one really
Akashdeep was
talked
very
about
impressive
it.
in that game against England as well.
Yeah. So that's why Akashdeep deserved it, and of course 9 wickets. It makes so much sense, right?
Harshit Rana, is he lefty or not?
No, Harshit Rana is right.
Right-hander bowler. Okay.
So Harshit Rana, we are not talking about, but eventually I don't see any of them playing. Be it Yash Dayal, I think you'll see Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj along with 3 spinners, and I think that'll be it for their bowling department in the series. In this series, probably the first game, maybe they'll rest Bumrah if India wins the first one. Maybe they'll rest Bumrah in the second one. But yes, they are a little surprised by his call up for sure. But for him also, you know, Rinku Singh hitting those 5 sixes, then him going to RCB, you know, doing decently well.
In the later half of the stage.
Boss, RCB did very poorly in the first half. So
lost all their matches.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, the entire team did well towards the second half of that IPL season, and Yash Dayal also did reasonably well. So on that lines, maybe okay, but yeah, a little surprised that Arshdeep or Khalil did not get. I think they just did like a in pin, safety pin, in pin out.
No, but I'm okay with
it.
I mean, you got to try your bowlers right.
Yeah. I'm just joking, guys. Don't take it seriously, please. I was just joking. But yes,
no selectors are watching this show, right?
They are definitely watching.
They're gonna call you up.
They're gonna call me up and say कि ऐसा कैसे बोल रहे हैं आप हमारे बारे में? बहुत सोच समझ के हमने मतलब यश दयाल को लिया है. But yeah, Yash Dayal taking 4 wickets, he was economical also.
Yeah.
I think that plays a role, and Arshdeep only took 2 wickets. I think that worked against him in this Dulip Trophy.
But then the good thing about him is that yes, he is in selectors' radar at the moment. Even if he doesn't get a game to play, I think in future you will see him make his India debut.
Also, that fourth seamer's role is quite open right now, and when you go to Australia, you'll have to take that extra pacer with you.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be 3 for sure, but you'll have to take one more at least.
I think
At
Mohammad
least.
Shami will also
Might
recover
return.
before
I
that
agree.
tour, because you
I
remember
agree.
Ajit Agarkar, he actually said that since Shami had started training, they were
Like-
looking forward to him playing in this series against Bangladesh. By the way, I thought that it was way too early when he said that.
He first needs to turn up for Bengal, get some match practice under him, and then come back to the Indian side.
True.
And there's enough time for that. I think there's 1.5 months before India leaves for Australia. I think
Because if you see the earlier tours
Seam.
down under as well,
his seam movement,
absolutely.
I think
if
is
not for Shami, I think you can't take kids right now. If you agree to that, because if
I
you
want
see,
us to beat them the third time.
for that to happen, if you see the previous
World
two
Cup
tours,
ka bhi
there was
badla.
either Ishant Sharma or Umesh Yadav to rely on. This time, you will actually need Mohammad Shami.
No, but
He has to be available.
last series there was a Natarajan. You know,
That one match, yes.
Siraj also turned up and showed, you know, how he was doing so well. Like, you know, in his first foray Test cricket, I think
Navdeep Saini out of
Navdeep
nowhere.
Saini did not do too well, though. But yeah, I think Akashdeep is one guy who will also be among in their plans for sure. But Mohammad Shami, yes. But वही है ना, लेफ्ट आर्म पेसर, फिर आप सोच रहे हो फिर किसको लेके जाओगे, क्या
I want
होगा?
India to win, यार. May it be left arm pacer, right arm pacer, just
जो हो जाए, इंडिया जीत जाए.
India जीत जाए.
On that note, I think that's about it.
That's about it. 10 test matches await India, and then we'll head to that World Test Championship final if everything goes well, and fingers crossed that everything will go well, Siddhant. And since it's the return of the man, the myth, the legend, please.
Are you talking about me?
खुद ही नहीं विश्वास है.
Yeah. So I have returned to this video. And we have not been doing videos for a long time now. I think after ages we have done one.
I think
together.
I did one with Shalini. Yes.
Yeah. So please do like, share, subscribe. We'll keep bringing this to you. Tomorrow we are going to discuss what's going to be best Indian team. You know, the probable 11 for us against Bangladesh, and then probably a little more seriously, even though Bangladesh we can't take lightly anymore. Especially after they beat Love's favorite team 2-0 guys. मतलब पाकिस्तान को troll तो I am sure Love must have been rejoicing. I messaged him, by the way. I was not at work. I was on leave, and I messaged him the moment Pakistan lost that second test. I said, "Bye, please do a video on them."
You remember in one of those shows I said that I want to see India versus Pakistan in World Test Championship final.
हो ही नहीं सकता.
हो ही नहीं सकता. खुद ही नहीं चाहते हो.
पहले पाकिस्तान डिसाइड कर ले वो क्या चाहते हैं, वो किसको कैप्टन बनाना चाहते हैं, whether that captain deserves that place or not. But anyway, on that note, because पाकिस्तान का टॉपिक शुरू हो गया तो ये वीडियो पता नहीं कितने, मतलब it will be double of what we have just done so far. तो इनके जैसे मैं नहीं करूंगा, but tomorrow we'll see you again. See you guys.